Hi there. Welcome to Radiant Health with Suzanne. I am your host, Suzanne Roth-Paul, and I am a certified primal health coach, and I'm also the author of The Power in Your Pantry. And I do believe that good health starts in the kitchen. And we want to all have good health, of course, and we all want kitchens. My dream is that everybody's got a kitchen that no matter what they get out of the refrigerator or out of their pantry, it's healthy and supportive of them. So today we have a special guest. She has been here before. April Delaney is a colleague and also a recent client. I am coaching and working with her, and we're going to go into a little bit deeper as to her condition, and then what we've seen in the last 3 weeks. She was on a couple of weeks ago talking about her experiences with using the patches. And then also what we were doing together starting a couple of weeks ago. And now we've got some interesting results. And so we're very excited for her to be sharing that. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about how the patches too have been supporting her, the exciting thing that's it's happening for her so rapidly. And so we'll get on to that in just a second. And I wanted to also mention when we do talk about some of the patches, we're going to be sharing about some protocols that we've been using for her that are unusual, and maybe you might want to try them yourself if you've got some situation, especially with sleep and then detoxification. So we're certainly excited about talking the importance of detoxing. Those of you who also know me and have been not watching and you're watching the recording, maybe you don't know who I am. I just finished a Detox for Longevity Wellness Summit with 20 speakers, and April has been on talking about her experience with that. She was my eyes and ears about the summit, and be sure and go back and watch the recordings on my secrets Suzanne Roth-Paul Lifewave podcast, and hear all about that. And you can still join. We have the VIP package that is fantastic. It's only $27, and I'm keeping it that for a while because people are appreciating that price, and that those that didn't get to see the summit are able to afford it. And it's you get over $1,000 of free gifts and consults with some of the speakers, including myself. And there's also a lot of interesting materials that are supplied. A lot of the speakers are giving you things that you'll get for free. Anything from something to read. Some of their they have books, virtual books, and then my ebooks. You get my free guide, and you get both, and you also get my 20-page ebook, 20 plus page ebook that I talk a lot about, and it's literally your first step to wellness. April's going to talk about that with us and what I've been doing with her. And so let's go ahead and get started. So April, why don't you go ahead and come up and turn on your screen and your video, and then I'm going to put us on. I'm going to put us on multi-speaker here. There you are. Hi.
Hi. Thanks for having me back.
Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? We can talk a blue streak about all kinds of things. So we have been enjoying ourselves as well working together. And you're such a delight. And I think the most important thing with you, April, is you're motivated, you're ready, you're doing the work, you're taking the coaching, and then you're also expanding on it and learning rapidly what you're going to be doing for your clients moving forward. Because I didn't mention that, but April is also a health coach. And your Temple Tune Up, is that your program? Is that what it's called? I
Yes,
love
Temple
it.
Tune.
It took me a little while to realize that our body is our temple, and that's what you were referring to, and that's what I love
Yes.
about this. So everything we're doing together is through LifeWave, and that's what I love about this community, Team in Motion. So I do want to mention that. I forgot to earlier, but we are going to be talking about the power of community and the power of what being part of LifeWave, the family, has done for the both of us, because that's how we found each other. If I wasn't with Lifewave and she wasn't with Lifewave, she's in another state. She's in Oregon. She's not too far from me, but I'm in Northern California. The opportunities to meet people from all over the country and all over the world even is so amazing with this company. So, April, the floor is yours. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your condition, and then we'll dive into your experiences.
Sure. So yeah, I was misdiagnosed years ago. I know I'm not the only one, but then I finally received a proper diagnosis after a lot of pain and suffering. And it's called sarcoidosis. And when I heard it, I was like, what? So it really was kind of it, I didn't know because basically the way they found it was I had a bunch of MRIs and tests done, and I kind of my whole body lit up like a Christmas tree. So they had sent me to like oncology, and so it looked really bad for a hot minute. And but all my tumors and lesions are benign, and so it feels, and they call it sarcoidosis, I guess, because of the what it looks like under the microscope is basically sarcoma, so cancer. And so, but when they were confident that it was sarcoidosis, they sent me to pulmonology so that I could get the diagnosis because most of the time it damages the lung tissue. For me, they also call it a snowflake disease because no two people have the same symptoms. And so it's really hard to help people that have sarcoidosis because of that. Like, there's not really, I've learned that I'm the expert, right? Right. We're the experts of our body. And that was confirmed even by them, by doctors. So, going in and out of doctors' offices and all that, I got my diagnosis, and I had started with a different modality first.
Mhm.
And I was starting to feel better. And then Lifewave came into my life. And as soon as Lifewave was put on my body, I was one of these one hit wonders where I could immediately tell a difference. I felt, the symptoms that I have, pain, inflammation, I have mental health stuff, or at least it feels that way, anxiety, hormonal issues. I've been going through menopause, or at least that's what it's felt like. Um, just a lot of symptoms, nausea, vomiting, insomnia. And I've felt insomnia from a childhood. And so what's been awesome, and I'm so grateful for you for Suzanne, is, you've given me so many ahas. And really after the summit, my whole life made sense. Where I grew up, what I ate, what I drank, the air I breathed, where I played outside, it all mattered. And my dad also has been diagnosed with Parkinson's. And so it's come to find out like it's really getting down to that environmental, like, root cause situation. And so I, again, I'm so grateful because, like, this 3-step detox protocol that you have, like, I am adopting as my own as a health coach, and now going to work with my clients this way because the kind of success that I'm having in such a short period of time is so, it's life changing. It's changing the trajectory of my life. And
Mhm.
so it started with, again, your amazing Power in the Pantry. Download the free ebook. It's free. Why not? It gives you just a blueprint of what you're going to get if you obtain the full booklet, which is also just so helpful. So I started really with cleaning out my pantry
Mhm.
and replacing certain things, plastic. And this is before we even started really getting even closer together, right? Like, I was just like, I'm following you, but from back here, kind of.
Yeah.
I knew how much you had helped me at Lifewave. So I was like, oh my gosh. And then the summit. So I'm starting to like look at the ingredients and all my things. And as a health coach, I was like, I thought I was doing a great job. And I'm not saying I wasn't, but there was so much more to do. And so I started just little bits at a time, cleaning out the pantry.
Well,
And
tell
that
the
alone,
story without interrupting. Tell that story
yeah.
again about we talked earlier that the first thing that, because I like to ask people what were your top three culprits, and you said that they were the seed oils, and that's in the
Yes.
free guide. But what was the reason that you were using them? Because you didn't know, or you just were assuming that they were okay, or you hadn't even heard of seed oils. Was that something
Oh,
that was
I've heard of them. Yep, I've heard of them. And I was more like not really understanding the true um,
kind of severity of them?
the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
ramifications,
yeah.
right? And so the way my gut alone has changed in the past couple of weeks by simply eliminating the seed oils is I
Huge.
mean, yeah, I was going to say we were talking about the number twos earlier and talk about huge, like, so
Oh
I'm
yes, yes.
literally,
I forgot to warn the audience
sorry,
here,
audience.
the audience here that we do talk, we do some poop talk, but we're
So important.
laughing because that is primarily the most important thing is your bowel movements. And I tell people, you've heard me say this, April, that if your doctor doesn't ask you how is your bowel movement, it's the wrong doctor for you because so many people are constipated and they're never even asked, but they're pumped full of more supplements. They're pumped full of more dietary changes and medications, which is making the poop even worse. You can't, medications plug people up. But yes, that's so important. But I wanted to step back for a minute because you did talk about all your symptoms earlier, but the one thing that was the worst was your gut. And so she had April's, we all have leaky gut for a reason, and we're all saying that the leaky gut is being caused by that darn glyphosate, which is in all of our genetically modified foods, which you don't even know if they're GMO'd if you are not eating organic. And then, so it's wrecking our gut. It's, damaging the lining of the gut lining of the wall of the stomach. And then you're ending up getting all of those foreign material, all those toxins into your bloodstream. And then it goes through,
Yeah.
it's just like wreaks havoc. It's like having, crazy people in your house tearing everything apart because they've gotten, they've had access to the whole house. So that was important with your gut. And then the fact that we realized you had toxic burden loads by childhood. And that's what
Yes.
that's
And
what
I think that's really like, again, you talk about with the food that you're eating, and
Mhm.
then you talk about how you grew up, not that toxic burden load. And if you, again, with my condition, they say it affects the lungs, but for me, my spleen has over 20 lesions and tumors in it. And it
Yeah.
also, my liver does too. So if you're talking about the gut, and the spleen being your immune support, and then my body having this sarco, so that just simply taking the pain from my stomach
Mhm.
um, was one of the first signs that you were like, I was like, I love this lady. Like I cried that first night over at Lifewave because I'd never felt no pain in my gut, right? So I already knew I wanted to find out what you were doing. And so again, finding then going through the pantry and really understanding that these seed oils, and then listening to the summit too about how the oils just stay in our bodies and like that sludge, toxic sludge that you
Yeah.
call it.
Yeah.
It really, that's what I feel like inside. And when we were speaking earlier, I was telling you how I almost feel like I get compacted. I
Yeah.
can't breathe.
You
My
were.
almost like my rib on the left side pops up more than because my spleen is enlarged bit. So it really, the poopies get stuck even on the organs, and everything's just got all messed up. And then with the continual damage over time, I'm not, there's no wonder that I have the lesions and stuff and like that they could see, right? So
Okay.
again, really starting there with cleaning out the pantry, that was really
The
a
first step, yeah.
the
And
first
then
step.
also we hadn't really started with you on any actual protocols. You were low on LifeWave products, and then I have a detox protocol that I get everybody on too, because that is the first step. But what we did with your pantry was one thing, but you mentioned that the two oils that you were kind of like thinking, oh, sunflower oil, that sounds so cute. When you told me that, and I
Well,
said,
I'm thinking
yeah, I did
sunflower
too.
seeds, beautiful flower,
Well,
yum,
I'm
yum,
still having
yum.
it. My natural food store. I'm still fighting with them because they've got sunflower oil and everything, and it's already been proven that it is. It's just the way it's extracted. Now there are some ways that I haven't. It's whatever. I avoid it until I am proven by one of the doctors, Dr. Kate Shanahan. She's the one that I base my ebooks on, and she is a seed oil queen. That until she says it's okay, and she still does not, I will stay away from it. But the other was soybean oil or soy oil, and we all think soy is
Yes.
okay. But those are the two things. Well, sunflower oil, I don't know so much, but corn oil and obviously wheat and grain of any sort, they're the highest sprayed with glyphosate. And so we can pretty much say glyphosate is what's really doing the most harm for all of us. There's just no question. You heard about that on the summit. And it's just eating holes in our gut and it's wrecking our brain. It's so toxic. And so we've got that already in our system. But what was interesting for you was we got your pantry clean, but the other thing was, you remember you had like you were having some stomach issues, obviously. And so I started feeding you, giving you nutrition advice and what to make to eat. So talk a little bit
Yes.
about the soup that I gave to you.
Oh my gosh. And I've even fed that to one of my clients who had just a breast cancer removed.
Mm.
So she was over the other night and I had made the dealer's broth and I had added my own little turmeric, fresh turmeric and ginger in
Yeah.
it.
Sounded yum.
with the cilantro and like great sea salt and just everything organic. And she was like, yeah, I mean, and we were both, I mean, it's so good and it's really easy on the stomach.
Right.
And I just feel super light and refreshed after eating it. And so made it again. Like I said, so I made it the first time and now there's
Right.
some more in the fridge. And I feel like it's going to be one of those things that's just going to be a staple in my fridge for now. It's a great go-to instead of going to go grab the chicken nuggets, which I, not my thing, but if grab your Beeler's broth and just have a nice soup instead. And a salad, just really cleaning out, going completely organic.
Mhm.
And again, learning about appeal, learning about different things that I hadn't
On the
known about before.
Yes, the wax, the plastic residue wax that they're putting on all of our fruit. Yes, so that was all part of the summit. I'm just, that getting to that. But I think what we were doing is it's like we start with the food, we start with the pantry before we introduce anything else. So you'd probably already been about a week of using my nutritional support and the soup
Correct.
recipe. And we're talking about it's called Beeler's brought Henry Beeler, I think it was Henry. It's Bielers, and he was the one who created this soup for people with this broth. It's actually a puree of celery, zucchini, and what's the third one? Green beans.
Carrots. There's
No,
carrots in there too.
no, not my recipe. You probably could have, but
Oh,
it was just three
I had
greens.
a
It
carrot.
was celery, cucumber. I want to say cucumber, celery, zucchini, and um, green beans.
Beans.
And you puree it. And then it was boring to me. So I added the cilantro because I love the extra liver cleanse. And then I added lime juice or lemon juice. And then you just puree it. And it's more like it's a chunkier, you can do whatever you want with it. But the point was that got you through for about a week. You were using
Yes.
and soothing the gut. And then you started having already bowel movements at that because you're somebody who doesn't have regular bowel movements.
If
And
it's yeah, if it's one or the other. It's never really great, right?
right. And so that
So
was contributing to her being stopped up with toxins. And so that was why I had her get started on that right away. And I probably had a few other things I was having you do at the time. And you were not sleeping. I remember that was a big one. You were not sleeping. And two things about that. You had the situation with your son in the room with you. And I said, you gotta sort that out because sleeping with your kids and because he was, a young boy and he flails and hits you in the head and wakes you up and moves because they can sleep through anything. But so we got that sorted out for you, got you in your room. I talked about the number one thing. Number two thing after toxic burden loads is your sleep. And
yes.
they kind of go hand in hand because if you're sleeping well, you're detoxing well. But if
And
you're
honestly, like I had patches for that, but you're right.
yes,
Like, how are the patches supposed to work if your son's smacking you in the face in the middle of the night, waking you up
yeah,
anyway?
yeah.
So it was kind of like a shooting myself in the foot. So, and he was very gracious and amenable, and
Mhm.
he's actually kind of proud of himself now. So it's really been a positive, again, just move in that way. So just you're being accountable and having that support and guidance, even just and that kick in the rear that you sometimes need from somebody. You know what I mean? Just get
Yeah.
it together, lady. And so it really did help.
Well, you're a single mom, so it's easy to have your kids sleep with you, and I can understand that. But it was one of the first advice I ever got one of the things that I was advised was do not let your baby or your child sleep with you. And I was like, well, there's no problem with that because a lot of people feel they're going to roll over and smush their baby. But it was also the fact that I needed my sleep. And my son and I made a little pact when he was a baby. I said, we're going to get along great if you let your mother sleep. If you do not, we're in trouble. And so he ended up adapting it, but he was a late nighter. He would stay up late with me, but he would sleep in the morning. So that worked out okay in the beginning because I didn't have to work. So that was good. All right, so we got you started on that. And then you still had some Lifewave products, but not enough. But we were battling on a little bit about the budget and what we're going to focus on, and then also what to use for you for the patches. So what we did is we got you started on your detox protocol, which is just a supplement line. And you were using that for about a week, and you were like another like one product wonder because you were reacting very well and favorably. And I attribute that a lot to the fact that your body was just ready and desperate for what it needed was to detox you. Heard that on the summit that your body is giving you symptoms for a reason. So it's red alert. All these things are a problem. And so once you pay attention to your diet, then we end up with this supportive stuff to help move it faster.
And
And
when you're using something like LifeWave for a long period, or I had used it, s- uh, for like the
consistently,
year there,
yeah.
like I was feeling great. And then when you dwindle it down, I was like, there's still more work to do. And where is then this disconnect then? And so it was great to be able to see where I get so much relief from LifeWave. LifeWaves is just such a godsend. And then there's still something else going on in my body. And so I really needed to see that so that I could heal from really that root cause,
Well,
which
and
is
also
really,
the patches are so good. They're what you're doing on the inside, whether it's a supplement or food, you're helping them work even better because they have to do so much more work when you've got like chronic issues. So let's just say your spleen was really off. It was working so hard on your spleen, but you were still polluting it with and all the organs with the food you were eating, and or you were
yep,
still drinking a little bit of alcohol. We've got you off of that. You were
yep.
reaching for it. So, full disclosure here, I'm having a conversation with April just a couple days ago, and I happened to know when to call her at the right time, and she was kind of having a moment, and with her son and some different things, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I would love to have a drink about, like a glass of wine." And then you were doing medical marijuana of some sort. You were doing that on a regular basis, and you said that you were doing that more when you were with LifeWave, so you were still having symptoms, and you were still like not being.
Masking them though, like, right? Like I'm still like, just still feeling the need that there was something else going on.
No, and
And
also
so,
you were
and
also
even when
not
I was
eating.
at the Lifewave convention, right?
Yeah.
Like even when I was there, I was like, I need to have something. I'm not sleeping. And so like I felt like there was still some of this spinning of the wheels in
And you were
there.
still not eating. I mean, at that we hadn't cleaned your diet up yet. You hadn't even
Right.
met me. So there was a couple of things that were happening there. So anyway, you've had really great experience so far with basically getting some of these toxins out. And we've got the digestion moving now. You've got the bowel movements happening. And we were laughing about how monumental they are, like they're huge. And we're going, what's up with that? And I said, that is so powerful to know that you're carrying all that in you. Just
And
remember,
I was like, I was telling you, like, I even feel like I can breathe better today. Like,
yes.
feel like, yeah, I can
Your
take a
spleen
bigger
is
breath
not
of
hurt.
air.
You said you were having all that. It literally, when you've got all those toxins in you and bad food, that's where people get GERD. That's where they get digestion issues. It literally can come up more of your top upper under your breast, even the pain and the discomfort there. So that was good. You started experiencing that as well. So once you're starting to detoxify, get the things out, then you also started your cycling again because you're still young and you want to cycle as long as you can. And so the good thing is it kind of also brought on a cycle, your periods again, which is good because you're only 47, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that's, you want to cycle as long as you can. So that's good. You were irritated because then came all the symptoms that go along with that. But it was
Yeah.
almost like I'm woman. You hear me roar. At least I'm actually still cycling. So that I told her, no, this is such a good thing. It's so great because your body's operating the way it should. Because remember, it's releasing toxins then as well
And
too.
it feels like it's like trying to regulate, like, right? It's like doing this. It's like, oh, wait a minute.
Just
Like, I can
can't.
feel all of everything that my body's doing, all the way down from to the bowel movement, making it in there to ovulation, to even like when all of a sudden, like that fight or flight, you can feel I can feel it inside, like, the rush of the hormones. And I know
Yeah.
other people probably have the similar experience. And so, yeah, just it's just been it's been getting it's up and down, but I feel like I'm going, wow, this is like working. This is amazing.
So
I
once
remember
you
I was saying, it's like, yeah, power in the pantry, woo, and then
Yes.
woo,
Well,
woo.
everything, yeah, by the time we brought Lifeway back in, you were off the charts with kind of just amazed how you were feeling. But the good news during all of that time, we had you back on Alavita and Silent
Yes.
Nights because those are the two things you had. And you had a little bit of, did you have Eon or was it just X39?
So
I
I
think
had one more X30, I had like one more X39. I had like
we
one
were
ice
stretching
wave
them.
left. I was stretching it. It was like I was down to the last patch,
Yeah.
and then I got my upgrade going. So
And so those that are watching, they're like, okay, what were you using? I mean, the product is based on zeolite. And if y'all know, if people are it is a product that's starting to be heard more and more about, but it is a zeolite product, which means that it crosses the blood-brain barrier. It's in liquid form, and it actually does bind to the toxins and release them. And I had already done 10 years, if not longer, of detoxing with over-the-counter things from bentonite clay to, activated charcoal. Remember we were talking about that? It wasn't moving a damn thing. I constantly, all I was doing was taking more supplements and just being and spending a lot of money because those are good. Bentonite clay, all that stuff is good, but it wasn't doing what we needed to really get the nasty toxins out, which are anything from like parasites and viruses. And then you've got things like mold. And you were even, didn't you say you were, was it Lyme disease? What? No, they thought you had at the very beginning, they thought you had
Fibromyalgia.
fibromyalgia, which is chronically caused by some sort of foreign matter in the body too. It's an immune issue. But I wanted to mention that all of you were sleeping better right away. You once you got your room sorted out, and then you started feeling some
Yes.
relief and eating better, getting all of those poisons out that were harming you dietary wise. Because she was showing me pictures, you guys. She said, "This is my salmon dish with your vegetables," and you were doing really well with balancing your meal. And you also said that what was happening too is you didn't have an appetite before I started working with you. Remember
Yeah,
that?
and the nausea and the vomiting are with sarcoidosis with this
Oh
is
my.
it's like not and I mean I haven't been nauseous. I
Wow.
haven't I haven't been nauseous even.
3 weeks
Like
now.
I was going to say it, so I'm glad you brought that up because like that is something that besides sleep that like improved really even that with the zeolite supplement right then, like it was like that night I was like, whoo, it's getting sleepy, right? And then
Ah.
so I was immediately starting to feel better that way. So that
Well, when
was
I met you and started working with you, you said you're up all night. Your body, if you go back and listen to her 3 weeks ago, it was like my body wants to stay awake every 2 hours. And I was
yes,
like,
it
oh
does.
my goodness. So that was aggravating the whole system because you don't, the sleep is that's when you're detoxing. So you weren't even giving your body an opportunity to detox. And so the sleep is so
And that's
imperative.
why I was getting the medical marijuana so that I could
Mhm.
sleep at night and get my rest, but I was still up every 2 hours. So that's a trick. It's a trick, everyone, and so it's
And
not necessarily this. So, and I haven't had to use any of that. No, no,
uh,
no feeling of those things. Like I don't need those things
well,
anymore.
and your condition also is didn't you say it was a lung condition for a lot of people? And now you're
Well,
smoking that. So you've got like, and I don't know if Cindy didn't tell, Cindy Sellers, who was on on my summit, she also said when I went and did her cleanse, she's the one, the colon cleanse, the hydrotherapy colon cleanse that I did in Hawaii. She actually mentions to one of the young boys that was there. There was a early 20s kid that was there with his mom and his sister, and he was addicted to marijuana. And she said, "Do you want to get off of it?" And he said, "I really would love to." And she said, "But if you still, marijuana does have some health benefits, but I will teach you how to not inhale," which I thought was really unusual. I
oh,
never heard what she did and what that was all about. But there is a because people do, excuse me, people do take it from they'll do medical marijuana in pill forms, or you can do CBD oil, things like that. So I do know it has that, but the smoking part was aggravating your lungs, and we don't want,
I
more.
think it tends to over time do the opposite almost of what you're hoping it will do. Like just like
Mm,
anything that's a drug, right?
right,
It
right.
after a while you're needing something else
Uh-huh.
because that's not as it's not
It's
it's
not
not
enough.
working for
It
you.
just,
It's just not working anymore. And
yeah.
so again, the spinning of the wheels type scenario where I've always just wanted to, be a person that could wake up and then just be a person that was got up and did their thing every day instead of like, oh gosh, I'm feeling like this and now I need
Yeah,
this.
you'd wake up with the worry about what the day held for you. And what you're doing now is, you guys, it was so sweet. I got a call from you, and you're singing in the car to scream. You're singing
I
all
was
this,
in my
you're doing all these things and jamming. And I was like,
crying,
wow, wow. Yeah.
crying in joy because I haven't even been able to like do that for a little while, like it's been so is this is it's yeah, it's been
Well, so
awesome and
let's
this
let's
week.
go. jump forward to Lifewave. So then we got your order, and the reason why we took a little while was because financially we needed to get her a lot of patches, so we had to take our time and go through the protocol for her. But we ended up doing a kind of a yin and yang brain balancing, and I mentioned to her and to a lot of people when I do my product reviews here that when I was learning how to balance my situation, and our team in motion is so amazing, and Nikki's here, our fearless leader Nikki Chen, she basically said, Suzanne, with what I had going on, she said, you need to get your body, your body needs to heal, but your brain doesn't believe it. And so we've got to get your brain believing that you're okay and to heal you. So we've got this protocol that we wear on our head, and it was a lot of patches. And so what we did with April was we were budgeting her and being conscientious of it. And so we were trying to, instead of doing 5 on our head, you started out with 3. And I said, let's see how you can do with 3. And we started with the amazing Eon patch, which is our fabulous patch. It's all about the nervous system calming, helping, the inflammation. And immediately, what was it? They fell out. Something was that they fell out of you were having a hard time keeping them in.
Yes, but I got rid of the bobby pins and then I just used this because there's so much hair all the time, right? So I just clip them in with a different type of clip now, and they stay just fine. And I can tell immediately, like I'm laying in bed and it just feels like almost cooling. I don't know if anyone gets that
Mm-hmm.
sensation, but I get like a cooling sensation,
Oh.
and then I just drift off, and I'm like, huh? Like I've never, it usually takes me hours to fall asleep, and I'm drifting off and dreaming again. And I God talks to me in my dreams. So like just being able to have these kind of like this kind of relationship again with my Father in heaven, that's also been just such a gift, like
I
it
know it's
really
so
is.
emotional. Yeah, that's beautiful. And we now are graduating you to carnosine, and that's my favorite patch. I talk about that. Yeah, so you've got it on your temple there. Did you do 3 of those or just one?
So I did. This was last night. I just left it on because I wanted to be able to show it because I've never used carnosine before. And what I have to say is like that first night, I was still worried, like doing. So I did the first day of the yin yang, and then the night protocol,
Mhm.
Silent Nights, Alavita, and then I had the Eon. And then I told you that I'm like, but I wake up every 2 hours at least because to go to the bathroom. And you told me to put it on my pubic bone, the carnosine.
Yeah.
And I only got up one time that night.
Woohoo. Yeah, good. Yeah, so that
So
put it down
now
by your
it's,
bladder and any of the YH, carnosine or Eon. And glutathione, we don't do so much. I remember, Nikki, we were talking about it can give you energy at night, so be careful. It never bothers me that way. But we put those, so you did that helped you not have to get up. But even the good news is, even when you woke up, you were able to go back to sleep.
I
Even
mean, that is so critical to be able to go back to sleep.
absolutely, and everybody does. As we get older, there's reasons for it, for our bladder and all of that. It's all hormonal related, but the important thing is that you can go back to sleep. That was the beautiful thing. So we got you going on that. Then the daytime, was there anything new that you were using? You said energy patches. We were doing the protocol for the day. Are you doing 3 placements of all the patches, or are you doing all 5? The,
So I'm literally just following the sheet that the
or
pictures that
4,
you sent
whatever. Yeah.
me.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm on, let's get my little booklet out.
Yes, I've
Today,
covered Delaney
today
of.
I'm on day 13 of that supplement, but day 6 of the yin yang and the other stuff. So I literally wrote great sleep, woke up one time to pee. Wow. And then I was up at 5:30 because I went to bed with my son at like 9 o'clock. So I'm really getting great sleep. Like this is
Mm,
sleep I've never
yeah.
gotten before, unless you call it passing out, right? Like
Yeah.
so, and
You
that's
said
not
something.
sleep. Like this is like true restorative. I feel like
Wow.
my body is healing different. It's like healing for the first time. Um,
And
I
that's
mean,
a
when I
short
say
time.
healing, I'm realigning, my body's realigning. I'm going to physical therapy in my past. Physical therapy is not, I've not stuck with it. And this really is like, it's working. My body is like the parts that I've been injured are cracking back into place. I'm not afraid of pain because I've lived in it forever. And so I literally like, I'll crack something back and it's great. And so I've never felt like this before in my entire life, ever.
Wow. And I noticed too, you did tell me when you were doing physical therapy, it wasn't helping. You were enjoying it, but not really. You're like, you were enduring it. It was like, I'm doing it and I'm getting through it. And I was telling you, maybe it's not helping you. And you said, no, I know it is. But what we've done with getting some of the toxins out, getting your bowel movement, getting your stomach and your digestion calmer, then you're starting to react to the in your brain more like, okay, I can do this. I'm actually
What
well.
happened was like, yeah, sorry to interrupted, but what happened was is like I literally during this whole time before I started with you, I started PT because I knew I was ready for it, but I collapsed in a Costco.
Oh, that's
So I'm like,
right.
what's happening? Like, why am I collapsing in the Costco and going to urgent care, seeing doctors again?
Yeah.
And that's really kind of how our relationship, like all of a sudden, like again, God's timing was like, here's the summit, here's your pantry, here's this product, here's again just this layering effect. And that's when I was just like, you added the first thing, you cleaned it out, and I was like, wow, I'm feeling good. And
Yeah.
then it was like this other, and I'm like, whoa. And now it's like, holy smokes, whoa, like I have never felt like this in my entire life. And
Oh,
now here's again, I want to just tell everyone that it is Wahoo. At the same time, I still have these, like I'm going like this, right? And
yes, let's
so
talk
like
about
I
that.
was, just I really want to highlight this team in motion and just highlight Suzanne, you're just I love you. And I love this team because I'll just bring up yesterday again because I'm having these moments and I was upset and crying and feeling depressed and all these things. It again, this I get symptoms like this,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, what can I do? What can I do? And I'm
Mm.
like, I know I'm gonna go on and see Jane because Jane has a call at 7 o'clock. So I chimed in, and man, by the end, I'm like re-energized. And then you were like, what's going on? And then
I
you
called
called me,
you.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
here we are, like again, this like accountability. We have encouragement, we have community, we have people that care, we have people that and Suzanne, you care. And just
Mhm.
being able, and so this is the kind of thing that I'm bringing now into my own practice
Mhm.
with my clients that I have. It's just, again, this now what's working for me, what's worked for you is working for me, and we're going to work for other people.
Yeah.
And so just simply, and then know that it will work. And not only that, you can call, but I'm going to be calling you. I want to know how you're doing because,
Yeah.
again, your victory is my victory.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
victory is your victory, and it's all of our victory. And so that's what's really super cool is this is an amazing community. And without Lifewave, I wouldn't even be sitting in front of you guys right now. I don't even know where I would be.
Oh, honey, I know because it was a year ago. It was like January or February of 2025 when you found Lifewave.
Well, yes. So, yes, March. I
Or it
signed
found
up in
you.
March,
Yeah.
and yes, and then before that, like I said, I started, but it was just like it wasn't, it was not this. This is
Well, that's
again
the other
changing my
thing.
life.
Is the thing about Team in Motion again, and kudos to our upline that are so fantastic, is it is about community and caring and training and teaching. And so 5 days a week, April, we is it 4 days? Monday, you can even do some things on Sunday, but Monday through Thursday, there is training every night. And so you can always go and get inspired. You can catch a call, and you're always going to learn something. And that's what's so amazing is it's motivational, it's inspirational, and it's shocking that Nikki and Larry have been doing this for 13, 14 years. They've been doing this for a long time. And I've been at this for 2 years, and there's times where I'm tired. I'm like, I don't want to come on tonight. But you guys, I have to say, if there's anybody out there that wants to talk to me, April and I are just having so much fun. We're just going to monopolize every week talking about things. But it's been so wonderful for me to be able to have learned from the best, which is Nikki, and then to be able to play it forward now and pay it forward to you. And now you're getting that benefit, and it's just, you're going to keep paying it forward. And you already have some clients that we're already talking to, and
Yes.
and you're
That's
using
it.
that.
That's the epitome of share the light, right?
Yeah, and you are actually, what it does is it's helping you feel better. You're not wallowing in your own, trauma right now and drama with your own pain, because now you're helping somebody. So the biggest thing that is a takeaway is that being of service and helping others helps you. And it also, that's why we need to have a purpose. We need to have something we do that we love and that we're good at, because that's what's going to get you through some of the hard times. And we all go through them. We all go through them. And I was telling April that at least you have, I'm trying to give you what I didn't have. And I'm not doing that because it's what I wished I'd had. And you've been such a good patient because you are patient and you are listening and you're willing to do the work. And that's what it really takes when you are at a position where you've been suffering so long. And you're also at a position where you're like ready. You were like, I'm so tired of this. And
And
so,
you really need this kind of community when you're going through things like this because when those hard times come up again, they will. You know what I mean? So it's like it's
for all
going
of
to
us.
we
And
just
April, honey,
yeah.
how many times have I called you crying? I call her, so I call April to tell her something, and the next thing you know, I'm unleashing on something, and then she's supporting me. So I've been having some rough moments as well on different things, and so she's been there for me. So it's this give and take, which is really wonderful. And then what's great is you have a few people that need some help, and what's interesting, you guys, is April and I've been really perplexed at some of these folks that have been working with you that have weight issues are all jumping ship from Lifewave and going to Ozempic and taking medications. And so we're heartbroken because they're not given the opportunity to learn how, even what the protocols that we're doing here, because half the stuff you're doing right now is dietary. And then the
Yes.
patches and the anything you use supplement wise
It
is
takes
supporting.
time.
Yeah, so
It's
let's talk
not
about that.
Amazon, right? It can be like an Amazon, but we're so used to everything being so fast that when it's taking more time, and those of us that have these conditions, it's going to take a little bit more time perhaps for you as well. And just knowing that, don't stop before the magic happens, right? And so really having people that can speak life into that and hold and be there for you while you're going through the ups and downs because you don't want to quit this. You just don't want to quit it. If it's not working right away, then the communication is critical so that you can get help because
Yeah.
it will work. You just need to give it the time, the space, the patience, and really start,
Mhm.
talking to everybody. And so,
And
because
don't
there's
give up.
somebody has solutions. We have so many solutions on this team.
Yes,
It's
and don't give
incredible.
up. That works both ways. Like, had I not been there for you, there's plenty of people that would. When you go into the Lifewave community on Telegram and the Q&A section, asking for help, asking for support. But what I found to be the most interesting was, April, and we talked about one of the things we do want to touch on is that you're still having your rocky road. You're still going along the bumps and bruises, but you can call me and I'll talk you down off that cliff or off that edge, and we'll go back to, like, okay, let's go back to what, the deep breathing techniques, the prayer that you do, which is so important. You're connecting with God. You've even prayed for me, which is you're a beautiful prayer. You do a gorgeous praying to God and helping all of us, just remember who we are and who's in charge, and it's not us. And so to ask for that support. But I think that's what the message to here is, although April's having like this rapid experience in less than 3 weeks, she's going to still go through some periods because it hasn't been easy for her. It's kicked your butt a couple of times where you've been
Yeah.
like, oh my God, we were laughing about the going to the bathroom, and at least we can laugh about it. But she says, I'm shocked at what's coming out of me, and these things are what is clearing and moving. So you'll, from the sweating to just, you've had some, didn't you have some sweating and some
Yes.
with the
So,
cycles and getting all
yeah.
of that?
Remember the last time I was on, my son said, "Oh, what'd you do? Sleep with 1,000 farts?"
Yeah, because you didn't smell good. And that
He
was
was
the
like,
deal.
oh,
Yes. Well, that probably is why he decided he didn't want to sleep with you anymore. Mom doesn't smell good anymore. But it's kind
you're
of like,
probably right. You're probably
yeah,
right.
but that's good because you know that you got to find if it, you'll do whatever it takes to get your sleep and that's important. But that it has been a roller coaster for you. And you know, April, the other thing I do want to bring home, even for you, hun, and anybody who's watching that is a brand partner and working with your clients, I met April last October at the Lifewave Convention. Well, months went by, time went by, and I didn't hear from her again. And I thought, well, that's too bad. You know, she had such a good experience. I really liked her. So I let it go, went through the holidays. And I don't remember when it was. It had to be in the first of the year I reached out to you. And you were elated that I reached out to you. You were like, oh, Suzanne, I'm so glad you did. And that helped a lot because I was like, oh, good. Well, the important thing is you've got to stay in touch with people because she was in a bad place last, you know, after I saw her she went back to some of those habits, but also she just didn't have the support. And so when I did reach out to her, and look at us now, we are not only collaborating on many levels, but I'm able to really help catapult her situation. So then she's going to pay it forward and she's going to help some new people. We already have some folks we're talking to. I'm already advising you how to advise her. And that's the beauty of the team in motion and the team. And I love the team in motion. You know, we were talking about Nikki in the name, team in motion. It's like constantly moving. We have to constantly be moving in the direction of healing and wellness because it's just like your body. When the poop stays in your body, it gets stuck in there and it starts toxic, get festering and polluting and getting nasty. And it's the same thing with our lives. And why we constantly have to be moving, learning, growing, experiencing. And that's what I'm watching. I'm having such joy watching you do that. It brings me such humble experiences that my pain that I suffered from all those years is not in vain. That's why I do this work.
Yeah,
So,
and you mentioned too at that time, like you didn't have anyone you could really go to. I
oh,
feel it has been like that's been my life, like
mm,
my entire life, because nobody's really understood
mm,
um what I've been going through. They is because I look fine, everyone's like, oh, whatever, April. And then I find out that I have something else, but I don't have that. That's very isolating. And then when I found
mm,
out that I had, what the name of this disorder was, diseases, you know, I come to find out still nobody knows. Doctors don't know how to help. Nobody really knows how to help. And
mhm,
so I felt once again alone and isolated until now. Right. And so
mhm.
there's like God is so good and just I it's just so he's so amazing about how his timing for everything because again now for the first time in my life I don't feel alone. I don't have to do this on my own and I have this amazing community that you don't need to know any of what the disease or any of that. It's you're going to get help with this and we're going to help you and we're going to help you figure it out.
Yeah,
And now it's just, and you are not this, that
right.
constant reminder that you're not this, you are. And I have this view of the future. I'm already living in the future and the future looks good,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's
And
going to
would
be,
you?
it's already amazing. So, I mean, and that's because, and I can see myself and feel myself getting so much better already. And then to be able to go, I can't wait to see everybody again in October,
Yeah,
like
yeah. Oh my
again,
goodness.
reuniting and it feels so good again.
Reunited and it feels so good. Well, you know, it's so funny because I just thought about how you're my age when I got diagnosed with my health issues. I was 47 when I said, if I don't do anything, I wasn't diagnosed, but I went into a doctor and said, you got to figure this out with me. I've been unwell my entire life. I'm tired of it. And so I was at a point in my life where I was like desperate. And, you know, we did find out I was toxic burden load. And I did have a doctor that was a little bit of a scaremonger because she was like, oh my God, Suzanne, how much tuna fish do you eat? And I remember going, I don't eat tuna fish. And she says, then why do you have so much mercury in you? And I'm like, Well, because I have a mouthful of mercury, amalgams. I knew at that point that the fillings were toxic because I'd already been dabbling for about 10 years in my early 40s. I had doctors telling me, one guy telling me that you probably need to change your diet, but I was addicted to all of those things like the Starbucks chai lattes, the sugar, the amount of sugar that was in those, and the caffeine. And he was telling me to get off of the dark horses, which is caffeine, sugar, soy, dairy, corn, and wheat. He was like, you really need to get off of those. But he was such a sweet man, and he didn't really want to tell me you're a wreck and it's only going to get worse. And so it took me like another 5 years before I really realized it. But the point of it is, I didn't have that support, but I was so excited to find answers that I wasn't broken. There's all these things. And so we got to change the story. Like I have to remind April, don't talk about sarcoidosis. I always forget how to pronounce it, but this sarco, it sounds like there is a cancer that has that name. I think that's why I don't want to say it. But it's like, don't put a name to it because then you're going to constantly refer to it. And then your body hears it in real time. So what we say is, I've had this dis-ease, disorder, and now we're getting order and getting ease back into our body. And so as soon as your body hears that, it knows, remember, it hears it in real time. So you've got to be kind and talk to it gently. And so when April and I get together, we both we correct each other on when we're having a bad moment. But I think that's it. It's accountability, partnership, having somebody to talk to, even though we're on the phone or we're Zooming. That's the beauty of Lifewave bringing us all together. And it's also the beauty of, I have to say, we wouldn't be doing this if we didn't have the internet and having all of this technology that we're all bashing right now. I love technology. Let's just use it for good. And we get that opportunity right now to do that. Anything can be turned. Look at cars. My husband always talks about cars. Look how many people that they've killed over, but we love our cars. Just drive safely and don't drive drunk. So it's kind of like that, but looking at the good and the positive. And from that message, I'm so grateful that you have given me the opportunity, April, to support you because you've been a pleasure to work with and you take the coaching. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what I would really love to see with all my clients, you know.
Mhm.
And so yeah, it's just you got to go, like I can't afford not to. I have to be all in, you know, and I'm all in with this protocol because it's working for me.
Mhm.
It's good and it will work for anyone else. And you might be sustained with simply um uh you know, one modality or another modality, but
Mhm.
LiveWave will change your life.
Well, and I do
These
want to
things
say
will
that
change your life.
it's a lifeline. I'm telling you, I love the name Lifewave because it is a lifeline. But I was going to mention, so we're hitting it hard with you right now with the detox protocol and the patches.
Yes.
So what happens, and it happened to me, you'll get through all of this, and it might take her another couple of months. It might take her 6 months to really get to where she's sailing, and she doesn't need all of that support, the life jacket, and all of the different things that go along with that. And then she can back off at things, and then you
Yes.
temper it and base it on that. And the beauty of with LifeWave and anything that I recommend is when something happens again, you don't panic. You go, oh, yeah, I went out partying with my girlfriends and I drank some alcohol and now I'm hungover and I'm not sleeping well and now I know. And so then you course correct very quickly. So that's what it is. It's called awareness. And that was what I taught a lot of people in the early days was simply awareness that you're paying attention so that when something happens, you're not falling apart again. You just need to course correct. You got off you went off the wrong exit on the freeway. Now you need to get back on it. Might take a little while. Oh shoot, you're in the dark. You're in the bad neighborhood. So you got to turn. But at least you know that, and that's it. It's just knowing, and that's what gives you peace of mind and lets you keep moving forward. So thank you for bringing that up, but sharing that. Your vulnerability has helped me a lot to support you on that. And when you go
Yeah.
down that rabbit hole of feeling bad about yourself again, I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Well,
Look at all you've accomplished.
transparency is key, you know, and being in honesty and transparency is really key when you're trying to overcome things that are like health conditions. I
Right.
tell my clients, I want to know everything you're putting in your mouth, including your toenails. They're like, what? You're like,
Yeah,
what?
yeah, yeah, yeah. We got to work on
Write
that.
it down. Do you
Hey,
need a
hey,
toenail?
if you can get your toenail in your mouth, that's flexibility. I'm impressed. I want that. I'll do that. Yeah. I saw a card the other day that was so funny where these cats, I sent it to you, didn't I? I thought I did, but there were two cats watching their owners do yoga. And they said all that flexibility and they still can't lick their own bottom or something to that. It was something about they still
So
can't lick
funny.
their butts. And I was like, oh my God, that's so funny. But yeah, and I've got, I've been doing so much work that I've lost my flexibility. My exercise has gone out the window. I can't even remember the last time I was on my bicycle. And you know what I do? I just, yes, I'm upset. Yes, I'm frustrated, but I'm just thinking, this has happened to me before, and I've gotten through it just fine. And I'm gonna rise and I'm gonna get through it again. So you just have to remember, don't beat up on yourself too much.
Flip the script and change the conversation. That's it.
That's right. I like it. All right, we're at the top of the hour. I can't believe we talked this
Ah,
long. Thank you,
man, we
ladies,
always
for
talk.
being here. I know, and Nedra and Nikki that are here, they'll know that we could keep talking. We have a lot to share and talk about, and so much fun. But thank you for being so vulnerable, like I said, and honest with us. And we're just going to keep watching you shine. And you guys, April and I have already talking about doing some collaboration together on just trainings and working with folks with Lifewave. We can't wait to start sharing more about what your experiences have been, and then how we can help even more people. Thank you, Nikki.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, nice to see you, dear. And thank you,
Yes,
ladies, for
likewise.
being
Thanks
here.
again.
And we look forward to having you again and keep up the good work. And the nice thing is you are taking notes. This
Oh,
is
yeah.
important. And it's good to go back. It's good reference to go back and remind yourself how far you've come.
Yes, for sure. For sure. And thank you too, because this is it's saving my life.
Yeah, I hope you're able to talk to your doctors about it at some point. Because I remember the funny thing was when you called me upset with your doctors. You said, I'm done with them. I'm not calling them anymore, Suzanne. I'm all yours. I thought that was so cute. Yeah, no, it's important. You got it. The doctors have their places, but this is what you need is, the accountability, and that's why we're here. That's why we're doing the work we are in the company. That's what David. This was his vision for all of us is to be able to play for sharing, caring, and helping people in the best way that we can. All right. Bye, everybody. Thank you
Thank you
for being
all.
here. All right. We'll see you
Have a great
next
night.
time. Bye. Now, how do I end this? I've changed everything. Oh, there it is down there. Well, I'll get this. Well, there you go. All right. Bye, hun.